Hey all, we are live here at No Cover TV. Hi all. I tell you what, I'm really happy because it's the end of the week nearly, and I'm nearly on my summer holidays in Great Britain. And to let you know, a bit upgrade on the weather. In Great Britain, we have had a whole day of sun, so I'm the happiest person that there is in the UK right now. So, do you know what? This evening, we've just, we've had an amazing packed week. We have had so many great artists who have come on to No Cover TV. But do you know what? It's not the end of the week yet. And I have got two amazing artists who have joined me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Heather and Steve Roy. Welcome.
Hi,
Hello. How you
welcome.
doing?
You have joined us all the way from the USSA. But one thing I want to clarify first, you seem to have moved around a bit. On your bio and on your home screen, you seem to have different towns and different places. I can't work out where you are. Where are you in America?
We're in a tiny town called Newton, New Hampshire, and it barely is on the map. So what
That's
we
why.
are having to do is choose between either Portsmouth, New Hampshire, or Boston, Mass, because we're kind of in between
those
the two.
You're in between the two. Okay.
And
okay,
all
that's
those
right.
towns, yeah. Okay.
And all those towns.
All those towns are close together. They're not. It's not like we made these big moves.
No, well, I thought that, but I generally
Yeah.
thought I'd ask because when I was putting your bio together to introduce you, I was thinking, well, which town do I put them in? They seem to be going here, there, and everywhere.
Oh yeah.
We've been in Newton for the past 18 and a half years.
Fantastic. So basically, Heather and Roy, you are a duo that sing together, and you met each other through the love of music, and basically through family ties, through a song that you first wrote for your sister.
Yes.
Which is very heartwarming when I read that, in terms of how that brought you together was even more heartwarming, and we will look at that journey a little bit more in the show.
Okay.
But in terms of reading your bio and your love for your music and love for each other and the love for the music that you play out and about, it's actually fantastic. And it's a lovely story. I really enjoyed reading it.
Thank you.
So basically, in terms of your career highlights, I'm sure there's absolutely many that you can think of, and I'm sure we're going to go through some of those this evening. I've picked out a few which I thought actually we could have a bit of a exploration of and a bit of a more of an understanding. You basically, I said you had an inspiring sort of love for each other, love for music, and started sort of singing and songwriting together, and you sort of met each other through music, which is absolutely fantastic. Many bands and many artists meet each other through different reasons, but you had a real soulful reason for why you made your duo and you met in terms of your music. So in terms of like career highlights, I said you've had many. Heather, I was really impressed with the Royal School Church Music in London, England. So have you been to London?
No, I have not. Edward B. Gammons was the director of our choir, and he was from London, England.
He was from London, England.
He was heavily connected with Oxford, and he was involved with the Royal School of Church Music, and he got us going on that. He kind of was my first professional person to work with my voice. He saw something special in me, which I was thankful for, because I couldn't afford voice lessons.
Hang on a minute. I'm gonna correct you there, because in your bio he said that your voice was phenomenal.
Yes, he did.
It wasn't special. It was phenomenal.
Yes, he did.
Steve, you live with Heather, and you've had to share your music. When you go out, is it that phenomenal? Were the great words that he used? Were they correct?
Well, it is to me. Sure.
It is to you. Steve, what I'm doing is I'm buttering Heather up. So by the end of the interview, just to help you out. But the words phenomenal. The words phenomenal from someone who has such a career in the music industry. That must have been really warming to know that actually the choirs, the time that you put in music early on in your career, to have someone with a music stature like that to use those words must have been amazing for you, Heather.
Yes. In the early years, I was a soprano 1, and I tried to sing note perfect in those years. Through Steve, I found my alto voice, and he worked with me on more bluesy. So I had to unlearn how to sing,
But still,
in a sense, to let go of that church choir voice and find our voice.
Find your voice.
Mhm.
So when did you two meet? When did this story all start?
We met over 30 years ago. We
Wow.
met at work, and work was not music involved. It was
Okay.
and my sister Mary had passed, and I turned around one day and said, "Do you play the guitar?" And he's like, "That's a weird weird question to ask." And I said, "Well, I just need to know because I have Mary's song written and I don't play the guitar." So he went home that night and recorded for me 4 songs on a cassette tape and brought it in the next day, and I listened to it and I said, "Okay, you're good. I want you to do Mary's song with me." And that's how we really connected. That we started on Wednesday nights, practice nights for Mary's song, and then we just kept going. We started playing out, doing open mics, people started asking us to do like their major birthday parties and things like that. So we started that way, and then charities started reaching out to us. And the next thing we know, we were singing out.
Heather, I'm going to ask you a question now. You're saying that you reached out for Steve for his music. There must have been something else which attracted you towards Steve. Seriously, someone coming along with a special talent to be able to play his guitar and make that special CD for you and tape for you. There must have been something else which thought, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to spend my next 30 years with him. Come on.
Well, at the get-go, that was not possible because we were both married to others.
Okay.
So,
see, me and Al love to dig. We love to dig.
Yeah. So that was not, I was at the end of a marriage. Pretty much it was over at that point, but I was afraid to leave. So actually Steve was kind of instrumental in helping me out along that journey when I was first newly alone, because I didn't have a lot of funds and was not getting much in the form of child support. So Dream Maker Man actually is a song that came specifically from that time frame. He would leave little gifts of the children's favorite cereal, milk, juice, eggs, all the necessities, and on the front porch. And it was shocking to me. I didn't know it was him at first, but I figured it out. I caught him a few times and I said, wow. And he still wouldn't take credit for it. So Dream Maker Man actually came out of that. I just kept calling him, "You're my Dream Maker Man," because without you, I don't know where I'd be.
Oh, that is lovely. That is really lovely. Do you know, I knew this evening was going to be really heartwarming. I love these type of stories. Steve being the Dream Maker Man in the UK when I was growing up, we had like the milk tray man who used to sort of go down from a helicopter and go deliver chocolates to his special person in his life.
Wow.
What was it for you? Did you sort of like just leave something on the doorstep, run away, and hope that it was found, or how did you deliver that?
Yeah, just left it like in a box or a bag or something. Yeah.
And he would knock, but
Really?
the way my house was, it was a carriage house at that point that I was renting, and I'd always be downstairs at that time. I think he knew that, and I don't know, but
I don't know how it worked.
And then I'd hear the knock up at the top stairs. Well, by the time I got up there, he was gone. There was a bag.
That's very lovely.
It became very regular.
It's really lovely, and then that brought you closer together, in terms of your music, in terms of your relationship, and the fact that you've been so long together. I'm really interested. I'm sorry, being a male and female duo, when you work together, business partners. I've been in lots of different duos, but they've all been business related. They've not been couple related, So I've sort of met at a studio. We've agreed on songs, we've agreed on the gigs that we go to. You two, I've really got to ask a question. Who wears the trousers in this musical relationship?
It depends on which way you want to go with that, because no, because like with the technical stuff, I do with the the public stuff and getting me out to do it, and that type of motivation, that's her. So
I'm extremely extroverted, and he is equally introverted. This is very, very new to Steve. I always wanted to be out there. I'm one of 8 children, and I'm a 7th child out of 7 girls. So I just always wanted some type of spotlight, I guess. And my voice was where I started to find it.
Fantastic. You both in your bio have spoken a lot about your families in terms of their background in music. You know, were they the types of families inspired you to be musicians? Were they musicians themselves? Or, would you grow up listening to music?
My grandfather first taught me how to sing with his pump organ. He was an extremely gifted tenor, but he was, he only sang for himself. He had an amazing voice, though. So he started working with me when I was about 3, 4, 5. He'd be doing the scales with me and seeing my range and giving me the breathing lessons and just to use my diaphragm and to not keep it here, but to let it come from within. And he taught me all the basics. And, since I'm the latter end of a large family, there was quite an age gap. Like my grandfather died when he was 92 in 1982. So it was, I had aged parents and aged grandparents. So my parents also were extremely musical. I mean, my parents always sang out. I sang with my mom at many events. She and I would connect and our voices just complemented each other. So I think I learned harmonizing by singing with my mom, because I let her take the main, the melody, and I kind of just harmonized in the background. And then we did the Alleluia chorus every year with the Andover Choral Society. They also sang in church choir, both my parents with me. So it was always about music to me, but it was always about singing with me.
How about you, Steve?
Well, I can remember when I was a little kid, my dad was in a barbershop quartet, and the guys would be over the house and they'd be doing the harmonies in the kitchen. That's a big memory for me. And also, my mother sang all the time, and she played all the records all the time and sang around the house. And my grandmother had this organ. It was a Hammond organ, and it had these hook pedals, and she'd play that, and she taught me how to play a few of the Christmas songs and stuff like that. So, and my grandfathers sang all the time. You know what I mean? All the old like French songs and stuff. So music was always there. So
fantastic. And we also, I was looking at your Facebook page, Ellie, and we were speaking just before we come on show live this evening. You also have a very, very special man in your life, which is your cat.
Yes. Yep, Marley.
Marley, yeah, I was just looking at his name. So Marley the cat. So Marley the cat seems to be everywhere on your Facebook. He seems to be even at the dinner table, waiting patiently at home for you. And I can see that from your Facebook page. He's a big family member, but a big part in your life. So we were saying, actually, just Marley the cat. Does he manage you two? Does he clock watch when you're going out for gigs and make sure you're home on time?
Absolutely.
He's always waiting at the door for us when we get home. Yeah.
And he's our biggest critic.
Is he?
And fan.
And fan as well. What's it, when you sing at home and when you're practicing at home, does he run away and go to his mates, or does he stay at home and watch you?
Oh no, he's an indoor cat. He's afraid of everything. He's not afraid of music. Music he loves. He's always right in the midst of it.
He used to lay outside when we recorded. He'd lay outside the studio door.
Yeah.
It was just really, to us it was a shock, because he's, like she said, afraid of everything. So.
You're both extremely talented writers, in terms of the songs that you've written. And, I was listening to your album, Autumn Soul, today. Congratulations with the album. It's a lovely album and a very special connection between you both. And I think the songs that you've written and that, it shows throughout the album. You know, if your cat turned around and said, you know what, actually I'm missing from this album, you know, what song would you write for your cat? Do you think he would want a song on your album next?
I don't know.
We have done we do a Christmas song every year, and we videotape it, and we changed the words last year to include Marley, because of course we can't sing a Christmas song without him in it. So he does get mentioned, but I think I would love to write a cute little song about him.
Oh, there you go, Marley. Marley, I've helped you out, Marley. If you're listening, AJ over in the UK's helped you out, mate. They're gonna be doing a very special song for you this Christmas, and I'm sure we're all gonna listen to Marley's great song. But do you know what?
Yep, he's listening right now.
He is. Marley, I'll tell you what, mate. It's lovely to see that the family cat's also the manager of, you know, everyone's team. I think if I'm going to ask that question of all of my musicians when I interview them, who is the real manager in the home? Because I bet the pets are.
Oh, yes.
So when you first started writing the bio for me, Steve, you spoke very much about the fact that you have a visual impairment.
Yeah.
And obviously people are aware of that now when we put it out on socials. What I was saying is I'm very proud of you, Steve, for opening up and telling the world about the fact that, you know, you were born with a visual impairment. It's hard to tell people, you know, everybody sees a musician as a musician. They see people playing on stage. They see people opening up their next gig, doing their next album. But actually, you know, deep down behind, there's a lot that people may or may not know. Your family members probably do. Some of your fans probably do. But actually, it makes you a really, really extra special person. And I think the fact that you co-write songs with Heather, you write songs yourself, you play your musical instrument. Do you know what? Actually, we're going to spend the next 3 or 4 minutes understanding what are the difficulties for someone who has a visual impairment to be a musician, but also what inspires you. You know, how does that make you feel? Do you know what? Actually, I've got this visual impairment, but actually that's going to make me stronger, and I'm going to produce the very most magical music with my partner, Heather.
Well, I guess I could start when I was younger, because, you know, being that way and being in a classroom, it was, you know, there was a bullying situation. So kind of made me go, when I went like introverted, I guess I became an introvert in that way, you know, and I think the music helped me with that, because I kind of, you know, got through things with music and those type of things along the way. But I think, you know, there's other things, like if I go on a stage or get off and there's lights, or say they're shining, or wires or something, I'm always afraid I'm going to go on my face, but I make it. But, you know, and some people use, hey, like music or an iPad or something, and they can play words to in songs. I can't do that. So when I do a song, I have to memorize it.
That's a special talent in terms of memorizing. You know,
sometimes it works out better than others, but you know,
it does. You know, I think remembering my lyrics. I think there's many. I used to be a wedding singer, and I used to sing regularly on stage, and remembering the lyrics to every single song. And I think I must have made so many mistakes, and people used to say, "That's not the lyric. I don't know what you're singing." I'm on the stage boogieing away and thinking, yeah, I look like Ollie Murs or Elton John tonight. But actually, I've just said the complete wrong words, but I'm making it up as I go along. Have you ever got to that point that you've like made up a song and you've forgotten those lyrics? Or, you know, what's the most
happened to our own songs?
Has it? What's the most embarrassing time on your lyrics? Have you got to a point or a gig where something's gone completely wrong?
Oh, yes. Actually, a few months ago, we were doing a gig, and we ended up having, it was like one of these things where everybody's going on, and, you know, there are several people before you. We tend to like, especially if we're doing like an open mic or we're doing any type of compilation, we like to be kind of early on, because that way we do it, and then we're not sitting and thinking, oh my gosh, we might not be as good, or whatever, you know, whatever gets in your head. So we like to be early. Well, this time we were 11th, and we were at a pub, and I tend not to drink or eat anything until we're done our performance. Well, this night I had a a few drinks. And that's not like me. So we get up there and I'm going off the rails, and Steve follows me wherever I go. He is a magnificent, like, because of his lack of vision, I think, he hears stuff ahead of time and he adjusts. And he'll follow me down the rabbit hole and pull me back out. And I know it. And sometimes I'll make even a funny comment.
Yeah, I'll just say, oh, so we're going there now. Okay. All right.
And this was one of those times.
Yeah.
And it's around a lot of colleagues that, musicians that we're really, really close with, that we really admire. So I was kind of embarrassed. Steve didn't say anything about it until a few days later. The whole ride home, he said nothing. Usually he talks a lot. But it was a lesson to me. I said, okay, I guess I don't have the hard cider before I sing.
Lay off the hard cider.
I love it.
Yeah, we write songs like that sometimes. Like I'll play a tune and she'll start singing the songs. Actually, when we brought our songs back from rehearsal tapes that were on the old tapes, like the VHS, and we had them put onto a computer stick. And so we revived the old videos, and that's how we did it. I started playing and she just started riffing the words to these songs, and then we just copied those down. They became lyrics, once we structured them a little more.
That's kind of our music making style.
Yeah.
We don't sit there and say, I am going to write a song now. And we just kind of jam. It goes into, he'll stop playing something in the old, way long ago, 30 years ago. I'd go, does that have lyrics yet? He'd say, no. Okay. Or sometimes I didn't even ask him. He may have had a whole head full of lyrics, and I'd just start singing. And he'd go, okay, those are the new lyrics. So we kind of, musically, we don't have a traditional songwriting style. That's how we do our songwriting. We jam and it turns into something, or it doesn't. And many times it doesn't. Many times it does.
Right. Yeah, we will write things like a poem or something. And then we'll look at that and say, oh yeah, okay, we'll put it.
Is that how you've got a new album out? Or Autumn Soul. What's the name of the album again? Remind me.
Autumn Soul Revival.
Autumn Soul Revival. I was flicking my eyes over to one side. It's been a long week on on No Cover TV. I was forgetting the last bit of Revival. That's what I get into. So Revival. So is there a particular song on there which really inspires you, which everybody's going to enjoy? Is there one song on there that you would love to everybody to hear? I think everybody has a favorite song on an album. Which one's yours?
I tend to like Dreammaker Man because it's about my Dreammaker Man, but it also is more than that to me. When I look at society these days, Dreammaker Man would be a fantastic song for homelessness, for inspiration and hope. It would be a perfect song for that. So I like that aspect of the song. For some reason, we released The Evil Ones first, and that song sounds like a bad connotation. The Evil Ones, oh, it's scary. It's not. It's about rising above. It's about, when you have a rough time, it's fighting through it. And the best things, actually, you rise above.
When I wrote that song, it was one of those, like you always hear in the shower. I'm thinking of something over and over, and I'm thinking that about why do people who are evil always seem to have like the good things, and I'm a nice guy. What's going on here? You start to question things in life. So that's where that whole line came from. Why do the evil ones get the roses? And that's where it kind of came from. And then it builds to a point where, where we talk about don't let the evil win and things like that. So I like that song.
I like that, Steve. I like that message. But at the end of the day, I think you've won already. You've had an amazing music career with your partner, Heather. And at the end of the day, your love for each other and the music really does shine through. So, I think you've won $1 million there, Heather. I think that really
I definitely
makes the music extra special.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, the messages that you put in your singles and your songs and things like that, you do a lot of work for charity and veterans. And I think they benefit a lot from your music that you put out, and they listen to you when you go out and you do your gigs and do your charity gigs. Thank you so much for all the work that you do for local and charities around your area, and especially for the veterans. Is there a particular charity that you support the most? Is there a particular sort of venue that you go to that that really touches your heart, or do you just support all charities?
Well, we've been fortunate that Rolling Thunder is a big one that we support. They're the veteran group. They're a motorcycle veteran group that support the veterans. My sister and brother-in-law especially, are extremely giving to that organization. I mean, every weekend is spent on some type of charity event for that. So, I just opened up and said, any and every time, if you're stuck, if you need somebody last minute or whatever, we're available. So we've kind of become a regular there for them, and it's really, really rewarding. And because when we do cover songs, we can sing all the way back into 40s, 50s, 60s songs, and all the way up through Led Zeppelin and all the way up through current songs. I sing some Adele tunes. So we are really fortunate that we don't have one genre that we focus on. So because of that, we can kind of curtail our set list, if you will, towards the audience, which is really cool. So,
and that audience is great to play for because they really listen, and it's as opposed to
they come alive.
Yeah,
they love it.
I bet they do, and I'm sure I was listening to some of the songs on your Facebook page, and and the types of people that you play for, things like that. Is there any spotlights this year? Have we got any big major plans for this year? We will also talk in a minute, and I'm not going to get to that yet. We will talk about the awards, but is there any other major plans for the year?
We're doing some collaborations for ISSA. We're doing some spotlight showcases. So that's really fun because we're meeting the people. Now we're very new to ISSA, and I've fallen in love with people just through what I've read, the support. We've met people. We've gotten out there to meet. Linda Marks is one of them. Eileen Springer, you just interviewed her a short while ago, and we listened to that live.
She was amazing.
We just met her in person finally last Sunday. She's an amazing girl and woman. She's an amazing musician, and we've reached out to people, and people are so willing to help. Like we're kind of newer to this competition thing. We've not put in for a competition until this. This was our first one, and we were kind of selected because I wanted to make sure it was a valid organization and that it was a singer-songwriter thing, because my hopes is that this will even push us further to do more songwriting. We're very picky with what we end up recording, so we have to let go of that a little bit, and I think I'm going to run some things by people down there. I love the ideas of doing compilations. I just absolutely adore that. So
I've already myself, as a singer-songwriter myself, I'm working with a few people this year on some charity songs. I'm looking at Bernardo's release in the UK, and I've got a couple of others in terms of my album itself. But we have a selection of 17,000 singer-songwriters from around the globe. And it is an absolutely amazing platform. I remember joining and meeting Tammy 4 or 5 years ago, getting my little gold card through the post, and almost certified myself as someone who wasn't in my bedroom writing songs. I was actually wanting to become a professional musician and becoming a proper singer-songwriter. And I was so excited. I can remember when it come through the post, this little card saying, welcome to Singer-Songwriter Association. But for me, it was also, actually, this is my new family. They are, they're my family, they're my friends. But it also opened up my eyes a bit wider to the music world, to know that actually everybody behind the microphone, the TV, the sellout studio tours, are actually people you can connect to. I don't know if you saw my interview earlier on in the week with Aziz Ibrahim. He has been a very good friend of mine for the last 4, 5, 6 years. And he played for the Stone Roses, Simply Red, Hot Chocolate. And we text each other as though sometimes we're friends, and we text each other as though, if I've got a song idea, be like, all right, Aid, how you doing? I'll be back with you shortly. I'll just finish off this tour at the moment. I'm thinking, do you know what? Actually, it shows everybody has got time for each other if everybody's got the same love, and that is music at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Really is music. And I think that's what the ISSA family brings, and I'm glad I'm part of it. But for you two, it's really exciting this year. Not just best duo, best album as well. So you've got a double celebration this year. So lots and lots to be excited about. And before we met on the show, you told me you two were going.
Yes, absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
I've just got to ask a question. Steve, have you got your outfit ready?
Almost.
Almost.
But the shoes. He needs.
She has to approve it, though.
Yes, okay.
It's going to be hot down there, so he's not wearing a suit jacket, but he will be wearing color, a lot of color. He will be matching. We always try to match. So.
and Heather, how about yourself? Have you? All of the females who are going to the awards have all completely dropped everything in terms of the outfit what they were going to wear, and now they're literally rushing to the shop to buy a new outfit. So Heather, have you had the same panic as everybody else? Only 3 weeks ago.
No, I'm sticking with the dress that I found. I love the color, and it kind of is like your background, more towards the pinky purple of your background. And the funny thing is, through meeting Eileen, she shared with me her dress. We are wearing the exact same color. She originally told me hers was purple. Hers is the exact same color orchid as mine. So we're going to be one on each arm of Steve.
Fantastic.
Give him something to talk about.
Is anyone particularly at the award show that you're looking forward? Obviously, you mentioned Eileen, but is anyone else that you're looking forward to meeting?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. Yeah. There's so many, but Tammany is absolutely one of them. She's the whole reason that there is this. So I'm going to be starstruck and just probably when I meet her. But yes, I've been listening to the Spotify list, and there are so many. There's so many that I can't name them all. But there's some really fantastic talent out there. Absolutely. Like those playlists are my playlists now.
Fantastic. Okay. For my final question of the night, can you choose one of the artists? If Tammany said, right, ladies and gentlemen, okay, Heather and Steve, I would like to introduce you to the stage of the award winners. I'm just getting you prepared. You've only got 3 weeks to go. Of the award winners, of the ISSA finalists, Heather and Steve, congratulations. I'd like to bring you on stage as best duo of the year. The crowd goes wild, and then Tammany drops a bombshell and says, before I give you the award, you have to choose someone out of the audience to play with. Who would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a say. I'd say Andrew Dean, only because he was the first one I saw in ESA, and I've kind of followed him and listened to. So I kind of know of him more than any others, I guess.
I think I would agree with that because he doesn't have one specific style. I mean, he has some beachy music. He has really Western music. He has very soulful. He's got religious. He's got everything. So I think he'd complement us well. Brilliant. And I think we'd complement him well.
But you're up for 2 awards, so Tammany now welcomes you back onto the stage. You nearly won your 2nd award, and I'm sorry, Tammany's not giving you an award until you name the best band. Out of the bands that you've seen in the ISSA, is there a band that you've listened to and said, do you know what, actually they rock? They're the ones who are going to win the award straight away.
There's such different genres. There's some, one that's really kind of worn on us, it kind of seeped into our heart a little bit, is Cranberry Merchants. At first I was like,
I've listened to them. They're really good.
I was listening and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this kind of reminds me of a lot of the 80s. So I think they'd be funky to do it with.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Excellent. I've got you up with your band. I've got you up with your singer. And for me over in the UK, I am so deeply jealous. I wish I was joining you all at the ISSA. And I've spoken to Tammany, and And for all those who can't make it, there will be an award show special. The videos will be going out after the show. So all of us who missed it will be able to see. But I tell you what, all my friends and family, and as I say, are going to be videoing me all night. So I probably won't miss much. I will probably see it on people's socials and lives and things like that. But I'm really excited. I'm really proud of you two for being finalists this year. And I know your fans and your family are really proud. Marley the cat, I'm sure he's really proud of you too.
Yep, he's sleeping over there.
He's right over there.
He is. I've really loved your story, and it's been really warming on a Thursday evening to read such a lovely story of a special couple who have warmed each other's hearts from the start of their musical career, met at some very difficult times. Steve, I'm very, very proud of you for being the man you are in terms of your musical journey with someone who have had a big fight all your life in terms of your visual impairment. You've put that to one side. You've chucked it under the car and said, you know what? I'm going to be an amazing musician, but I'm also going to be an amazing partner for Heather, and we're going to take this journey to whatever heights we can for the rest of our career. Absolutely lovely. So that's a thank you from me, and thank you from No Cover TV, and a thank you from your audience. And it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and we will catch up with you after the awards. Hopefully you can bring home the awards. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. I wish you very, very well, and I wish you good luck, and we will see you very soon. Take good care.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, you two.
Bye. Don't do it yet because it's probably still going to stay on.